I just got to work out how to edit that.
Okay. I can help you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. 3. 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Everyday Potty with Ori and Tans. We are so flipping excited.
We are a bit excited this morning,
Oh
aren't
my
we?
goodness, our last
Today,
potty.
but-
Our last potty
I
of
know.
2024.
It's crazy. It's
This
crazy
year.
to think we're here. We've been definitely reflecting a lot
Heck yes.
in more than just today, more than just
This past week.
I know. And even for me, I think it's been even longer. Not that it's like I stop and reflect in certain times where I'm like, oh my goodness, that's just like,
And the reality is as
this
well,
year, or that's happened this year.
it's uncomfortable.
Oh, 100%.
It's been uncomfortable to reflect as well sometimes because you're revisiting things that you probably necessarily don't want to. Like, I know I've faced many challenges this year. Let me tell you.
Oh.
And been in the boxing ring a couple of times, and let's say I'm still here in the flesh. So that's a blessing.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, I definitely feel like how was it you I was explaining to, like, for those of you that know the Bible,
BIBLE, baby.
Like, I feel like this year was those when the 3 guys got put in the fire, and Jesus, or there was a 4th man in the fire, which was God, and they came out of the fire, and not only were they not marked, they didn't smell of smoke.
Yeah.
So they went through that they went through it well. They went through it unscathed, and
they went through it as well and still scared.
100%. They were terrified.
Yeah,
they were like,
terrified.
They put their complete trust, and they were like, okay, like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna give in to whatever's being asked of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I definitely feel like that's been my journey for this year.
Oh, don't worry, I've been burnt a few times. I feel like I've been burnt and I've come out the other end not touched in a sense.
Yeah, because it's refining us, right? And that's the whole thing with the fire. I think that's what the fire represents.
Yeah.
It's a refining, and it's burning off old, unwanted stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
sober. You can say, let's unpack
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, yeah, and I think I love how you sort of said, like, there was still terror. There was still scared. There was still, like, even though, and I've never known how to always, like, you just know that it'll be okay. And that's not,
There's a it's the hope that we.
it is a hope, right? It is a hope. But I think I also want to clarify, when I say know that it'll be okay, or know that we'll be okay, or whatever it is, that knowing is no matter what. Like, I could still lose a person, or, for example, if it's to do with sickness, or if it's to do with, like, where it'll be okay, where it's all going to work out.
Eventually.
It will work out
in time. Yeah.
but it may not, like,
not in that moment,
or not even in the way that
we
like people think.
Like,
when someone is unwell and we say that no, it'll be okay, the element of they'll be fixed straight away. No. You still have to go on a journey, but you'll be okay through that journey, because there's lessons and there's things that have to happen and unpack, go through.
Yes. Yeah.
That is part of that journey.
Yeah.
And and again, there have been times where, I've prayed for situations and
they haven't turned out the way that we thought.
Yeah. But I still know, I don't necessarily understand.
Yeah.
But I know that there's a purpose, a plan, and I know that there will be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I think, I think that that's important,
Yeah.
but it's not easy and it's rough and rugged.
Mm,
But that's all part of the expanding. That's all part of the refining. That's all
yeah.
part of
Yeah.
the growth and the pruning
Mhm.
back. Like, because even pruning back, putting in
Yes. Yeah.
putting in boundaries for ourselves, putting in boundaries for others. It's a refining. It's a pruning. It's a uncomfortable.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
time.
So much to reflect on.
But through all that,
Mm.
oh my God, what a year! Like,
Let's just take
I
a deep breath for a minute when we say that.
yeah. Yes. I'm
Mm.
I'm gobsmacked in a good way that even in the toughest, probably one of the toughest years I've faced,
Oh,
and I knew it was going to be. Like, I literally said to my brother, at the beginning of the year, and we thought the previous year was tough.
and that's crazy, right? Because even last year, I was like, oh man, this is the hardest year. Oh, matey, mate. Did we not know that 2024 was going to be smacking us left, right, and center? Can I tell you? And we had to choose. We had to choose what we were going to do, regardless of facing those challenges that are going to make or break us. And oh my goodness, it's tested me in every way. And I feel like it's only preparing me for 2025. Like with every year, I feel like it turns up a notch.
Yes,
Like I don't feel like there's moments of like, oh, like this has been an easier year to say, because we're always constantly being refined, we're always constantly being tested and challenged. So I feel like I am really nervous for 2025, not gonna lie, but at the same time, I'm also excited. So there's like a really like uncertain, which is normal.
well, yeah,
It's
that's right.
normal to feel like there is the unknown. Like we don't know what's going to happen in 2025, but we do know that it's going to be another yet refining year for us, babe.
Yes, that's exactly. But you know what? I think, in that, what like if we were to compare or have a think about how before going on growth journeys, before going on doing personal development and all that,
Yeah.
what our years look like, right? I mean, they're probably rough, but possibly easy, yet not necessarily rewarding,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, but because we choose the growth journey, because we choose to grow,
We choose to
and
connect
thrive and
as well.
connect, and all of that,
Accountability.
yep,
Yeah.
it it there's tough things in that, but like with anything, you grow a bit and then you like pause and you do get to rest in it and appreciate it. And
I was gonna say the resting in that is
and sometimes, I don't know about you, but I've definitely felt when um it's all good, it's actually uncomfortable when it's good, because like this is a weird feeling, because like I'm so used to not the doing, but yeah, effectively working, like always working or always I don't know what the words are, but yeah, truly a phenomenal year. So grateful. Um, there's been wins, there's been losses. Um, there's been lots of growth. Definitely
lots of tears.
lots of tears.
Lots of tears. Like,
Expanded
we
capacities.
come on here and we chat and all the things, and we're in good spirits, but that's because being able to be vulnerable makes lights our hearts up so much, because we want to create that space for not just us but for others. But do know that we are definitely facing battles daily, and it's not easy, and there is a lot of struggle that happens behind the scenes of what we do in our everyday lives. And I guess that's why it's the importance to reflect on everything and kind of really appreciate the journey as much as it's been hard. It's like, just having a heart of gratitude on the things that have been able to grow and progress forward.
Yeah, I think the other
Yeah.
thing is we've learned we've learned or learning to trust ourselves
Cool.
and to trust to know that we've got ourselves, but we've got each other and whoever else like is within that
Yeah.
core of
And like for us specifically as well, like our faith journeys,
oh
learning
yeah.
to trust God is
Yeah.
a massive one. I mean, that's the only way we could have done what we do.
Oh,
Because
100%.
it's not in our own doing that
No.
we're able to navigate life and overcome obstacles and all the things. Like, we literally believe in the higher power, which is Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That sounded very just Christ, very religious, as people would say, but that is the truth, and we literally lean on his understanding, not our own. And
Yeah,
it's not
every day.
It's not a perfect journey at all. Like, there are times where we do find ourselves leaning on our own understanding. And we know what the word clearly says, and there's a reason for that. And we find that out real quick when we realize, oh wow, we definitely need to trust in him in the process of that. But in saying that, when we say trust in ourselves, I also understand in that way as well, because we do need to have trust in us.
So just to kind of back off what you're saying, what we've done is we've trusted in him.
Yeah.
So the steps are we've trusted in him and listened to him, and then even in the terror or even in the scared, we trust in ourselves that we can execute what he said.
Yes.
Because he wouldn't have given it to us if he didn't.
Thank you for tying that together. That's exactly what I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to say it.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. But like that's kind of the progression of it, right?
Yeah.
And so him trusting in ourselves, but then trusting in each other. It's together.
Yeah.
Then that it work like it comes together, and because we then choose to be obedient and show up, and even though it might be on our like for example this podcast and how it evolves, and how it evolved, like it was on our hearts. He showed it to us multiple times. Multiple times we said yep, oh well, like it was like that. Oh yeah, when it's right, when the
time is right.
Yeah, and it that wasn't it at all. It was when we were ready to go, all right.
When we were ready to say yes, because it was already there.
Yeah, yeah.
But we've got to activate it. We've got to take the actions to make it happen.
100%.
Yeah.
And you know, and then it's watching that evolve and how it evolved and to where it is now.
Yeah.
And this is only the beginning. Like it's going to, it will evolve. There will be an evolution of this potty. There will be, you know, we will show up. Whether it stays weekly, that's something we're going to.
We're navigating, and I love that.
And
we're just so open on how this is going to unfold. Obviously, there's a lot of trust involved, but there's also just an openness to sort of try what works for us. We're both two individuals at the end of the day. Sometimes I feel like we're the same.
Yeah.
In many ways, like this morning when we ordered breakfast, or when we sigh at the same time, or say something like right at the same moment. It's like,
and even like
it's crazy.
Yeah. Very crazy.
Yes.
But like before, we've both and we've actually did this even. We discussed this yesterday.
Yeah.
We've both been on we had Christmas and New Year, as you're obviously aware. And
let's talk about that.
Yeah. So we had Christmas and it is New Year. What the hell am I talking about? This break, right? And did Christmas. We saw each other Christmas Eve.
No, I wasn't there.
No, but I think I saw you during the day.
I don't know.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We see each other relatively regularly, or speak to each other relatively regularly.
Yeah.
Christmas Day, Boxing Day. Sorry.
Yeah.
Boxing Day. So what was it, 4 or 5 days?
I would say 4 or 5 days, we kind of spent
Just being.
And it was definitely a different headspace I was in. I couldn't put my finger on what it was, but I think there was maybe a bit of reflection going on in those few days. And I just feel like, I don't know, navigating friendships is still something we're doing, or I'm doing. I know that I'm doing, and learning and like communicating with each other and all that, and checking in and all that sort of stuff. Tans does a way better job than me, by the way. Probably why I got no friends, you know what I mean? But that's okay, because then that's less maintenance for me, because I am a low maintenance kind of galley. But yeah, like it was weird. I would say that's the wording I'd put around it, but it was different because we didn't speak to each other really in that 4 days. And it was like, what's going on here? Like I had to I'd message her and then I'd like backspace and go, just didn't feel right. It was so weird.
It was like,
and then I'd go to voice message and I'd delete it. And
yeah, that was really.
And then I'm like, I'll just let it sit. Let it sit. I'll see her on Sunday. It's all good. Just trust. Just trust that it will be okay.
Yeah, and I think that's what I said, right? Like it's like we had one of the things I probably got yesterday. It was like, as we spoke about it, was just trust in the friendship. It's fine. I think for me, I feel like I did a similar thing last year where it's like Christmas Day. I was definitely very present within a moment. Last year's Christmas Day to this year's totally different, and I'm so grateful for this year's. And it was way better than I expected. But like it, I think it was like about being present or just being, and but it was being for definitely a solid period of time, which I don't know about you, but no, I do sort of. It's not something that we do a lot of, right?
Yeah,
so
don't do it often.
So that pause and
it was uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
And it was like it was a pausing. It was a either being intentional with family, it was or intentional with just doing things that we don't get the opportunity to do, and really almost shutting yourself off, but not shutting
everyday normality,
which is why I think, and this is why I say this often, like where we live, like a lot of people in Mount Isa go away in December and go away for this time. I actually love being here because there is no one here, and because, well, that's not true. There is less people here. But what it actually means because of that is because things shut down. So you're not going to get pulled. So you can actually retreat and withdraw. And I said this yesterday. It was like we were withdrawing, but we weren't withdrawing. Because
we were withdrawing, but not from our friendship, but from other things.
It was from it was a different
aspect, yeah.
Heart, right? And which is why I think we're talking about a specific topic that we will probably speak about on the podcast. But when we withdraw, it's usually for another reason.
Correct.
And we both actually kind of did the same thing where we're like, are we okay?
Yeah.
Or are we actually retreating?
Yeah.
And then it was like, no. And we both obviously individually said, no, we're okay.
This is okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then came in and spoke about it and both on a similar, like going through the same thing is what we're trying to say, but in different ways. And then just sharing that journey and then just sharing what we've gotten and what we've, yeah.
I think it's good. Like it's good to journey different aspects of a friendship in that way where we can just be and we can just chill. And I don't even know how to word this, but I think it was good that we experienced that. Like for me, mainly because I'm still learning how to create friendships, relationships. Like that's still such a journey for me as I navigate certain things in my life and overcome certain things to know how to connect with someone and communicate effectively.
Do you wanna actually know what we were doing?
Mm.
I feel like we were connecting with ourselves, which
you hit the nail on
yeah, I was just sitting here then going,
you hit the
you know
nail on the
what?
head.
That was our time to connect with ourselves.
Because that's exactly what I did in those 4 days. And
Me
that's
too,
why we feel
me
like
too.
we weren't like retreating, like,
Yeah,
you know, for
exactly.
any other reason. Because like I said to you, I felt okay. Like
Yeah.
I was processing things for myself in those 4 days where I was like, okay, I want to navigate this. I want to be intentional about this. I want to be present about this. Actually, I want to slow down on this. You know, I'm going to just pause. And it took a few days, but
well, and I don't know about
It's
you. It was good.
Mm.
It in elements it actually felt weird. I have often, whenever I pause and I just have a day for me and I really slow down and I do nothing, which is usually BS as well.
Mhm.
But my mind says I'm doing nothing, and that's a lie.
Mm.
I I have to catch myself because part of me wants to be like, oh, you're not doing enough, or you're not,
Yeah.
or you've been slack or whatever it is. And it's like, no, I'm actually exactly where I need to be.
Mm.
And but it feels like I've done it forever and it's been a day. I think that's what my point
Well,
I'm
'cause
trying to
our
make
minds
is
are
like,
so used to creature, you know, that creature of habit, just like it's like, okay, this, and this, and then we just hit a stop, and it's like, whoa.
yeah. But even from that, like from what I just said there, the day, like this year, I feel like I've done, I don't know how many years in one, if I'm completely honest. When I think about,
That's why I'm yawning, and that's why I'm tired right now.
yeah, because it's like, I'm like, oh wait, number one, we're still in 2024. Like,
Mhm.
oh, hold up. Because again, the way I work, I'm generally ahead of myself.
Yeah.
But two, I was like, what has been accomplished, what we've been through, all of that in 2024 just feels like a marathon. Like
It does, but then when you think
but
about
it but
as well, it's all gone in the blink of an eye. Like
yes.
it's like it felt like forever, but now that it's over, it's like, where did time go? Did I do this year well? Like, what can I learn?
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's a
what do
great,
I want to avoid?
Yeah.
Not avoid in the new year, but like
do better.
do better.
Yeah. How can I do better next year?
Because same things will always revisit. Like it's a new year, but issues arise all the time. So it's like the importance of us reflecting to go enter into this new year is so crucial for me. Like for New Year's, like, you know, I've always wanted to celebrate, and now I just want to be in solitude, just silence.
But maybe that is your way of celebration.
Well, it is, but not in the way that I
Thought.
thought.
Correct. And that's, like that's really you said something a moment ago, and I'm just trying to think of how I was, like what I wanted to share about. Like for me, I feel like 2024 I showed up well. I showed up. I took on more this year than I ever have, and I feel like I did it well. Was it perfect? No. But I feel like it was a training ground for 2025.
Yes.
And I feel like that it was a stepping stone to show me my strengths, to show me how where I might need to lean, to show me what I value. And the biggest thing, which is probably something that this is slightly off topic of what I was going to say. You were talking about, things will always be revisited. If we're constantly facing the same challenge again and again, one thing we have to look at. Is it exactly the same? Like, is it a repeat, or is it a repeat and we've learned something and moved up and done something different? Because if we're doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, that is insanity, number one. But okay, cool. Look at it. Okay, look at this situation and go, all right, one, do I want to keep going on this roundabout, on this merry-go-round, or am I going to choose to change, to step into it differently, to try another way, to get exactly, and get curious as to, all right, how do I show up? How can I show up better? What can I do within this situation? What responsibility will I take for this situation to try and make a change? And that could be in a relationship, that can be in a job, that can be in lots of different things, where it's like, okay, what did I do good? What could I do better? And what is that better in one, like, we often look at a staircase and want to be at the top. What's that first thing you can do? Take the first step, one step. Don't try and climb Mount Everest and you haven't trained, number one.
Yeah.
And you're looking to be like, we're only talking about 1 millimeter increment.
Yeah.
Because that's what's got us to where we are. One thing we changed it. We could change,
focusing at one thing.
Yeah. And looking at, okay, well, cool, that worked, this didn't. What can okay, that conversation went well. I sort of saw a change, or I behaved differently. It didn't necessarily change it.
And a win is a win.
Yeah, exactly. And then constantly tweaking it, right? Like constantly tweaking it over time.
Yeah.
Rome wasn't built in a day. We all take time. So remember, we're actively engaged. Therefore, the other person may not be. We're the ones changing it, because we have a choice, but we all have a choice.
Yeah.
What do we do with that choices? So I think, even as we look at going into, as we reflect on the year that was, but go into the year that is, what are we, like, the questions you can ask is, okay, what did I do that I'm proud of in 2024? What could I do better with that or with something else in 2025? Or
and you can say, what's the one thing I can focus on?
Yeah. Don't try and,
jump and leap.
Yeah. And how many times, like, I was joking in my head yesterday when we were at church, because they were talking about New Year's or whatever it was. And I was like, yeah, new year, new me. Cool.
I stopped doing that.
Yeah, me too. You know why? Because
it's so unrealistic.
It's bull crap. All you're doing is saying it. What are you doing about it? Like, okay.
And it's the doing, and that's why I stopped talking, because I had to actually reflect.
Yeah.
First and process the year.
Yeah.
And go, wow. All right, now that I process that, what is my take from that? And how am I going to approach that? Is it going to be an unrealistic goal, or something that I can achieve, that I can be consistent with on a daily basis? So, yeah, you'll see no new year, new me sort of stuff. Because I don't know what they look like.
No, and even though literally that's what we're doing and done, but like, people will go to the gym and lose weight and do it. Nothing wrong with that. But that lasts usually a week, 2, maybe.
Or a month. I lasted a month at least.
Well, but there's things that you have to change to make that happen.
And that's it. Like, I finally made a decision not to have that as a goal, because I've definitely fallen off the train, like, with my physical goals of like trying to do this. But you know what? Firstly, I had to have goals internally first, in the mind and in the heart, before I could, because everything's connected, body, mind, soul. So I was like, once I get that into a habit and a rhythm of like doing things like making those small changes, I can create more consistency in other areas of my life. So losing weight is definitely something that I want to do. And that's because I want to be more healthier in the mind as well, because we know that when we're physical, when we move our body, it's good for us. So it's definitely, I'm glad I'm sort of changing. It's also giving me time to really build my why behind why I want to actually lose weight or why I want to get fit. And I would say get fit, because when you focus on getting fit, you do lose the excess weight that you carry.
That's a byproduct
Yeah.
of what you're doing.
So I'm actually glad that I'm in no rush to be like, oh, I need to rush to lose weight. No, because there's so much that I was like, there are so many areas of your life that obviously need work on, right? So I actually had to sit down and go, okay, there is 100 things in my life that I want to change, but you can only change one thing at a time. So I have had to prioritize my spiritual health and my mental health. And those are the things that I know once I'm focusing on those little changes, things start changing. Like you said, it's like a domino effect. It starts to affect other areas of your life. Could be anything. Like if we start filling ourselves with bad decisions, it's definitely going to affect every area of our life, because we're connected to so much. And there is so much to us as people. So I was like, wow, okay, one day at a time, one thing at a time. And that's all I can manage. And I had to be okay with that. So
yeah. And I think like it's great if you just want to work on your health, that's fine. But be very mindful of how you do it. Don't like if you want to
how
actually
you approach it and what your intent is.
What's worked for you in the past. If it hasn't worked, then don't do that again.
Yeah, I definitely won't be doing that again. I've tried that 100 million times, and all those other options are out of the question.
Like, it's about your reasoning too, like why you want to do it, what,
because it needs to sit deeper. The why needs to go deeper.
100% it does.
And that's one though, if it's at surface level, and I've got a surface level answer to that, it's only gonna be
well
at that level.
Yeah, because here's the thing: when rubber meets the road, when the hype dies down, which is usually day 2,
yes,
maybe day 3, you have to then go, well, I need to get up and go for a walk, hypothetically. Are you going to talk yourself out of it? Because if you are serious and know why you're doing it, no matter if you feel like shit, you will do it.
Yeah.
If it's the way, like even if it's from an eating perspective, no matter how tempting that is, if you're like, that doesn't fit in with the way I'm eating,
my goals,
that doesn't align, I'm saying no to that. You have like that, and I'm saying no to that because I want this, and this because of how it's going to make me feel.
Yeah.
A lot of people go, I'm trying to lose weight. That never helps you get anywhere. But anyway, we could talk forever.
We could.
What we would love you to take away? What's one thing you'd love them to take away from this?
I would say make room to reflect and brain dump. That's massive. That's what you taught me. Write down things, because we do forget. Life goes on and we're like, oh, I forgot about that. But if you actually write things down, you can actually revisit it and self-reflect on the year. Give you a minute like to pause and be away for a bit. I mean, last night I was trying to get away from my kid, and I said to her, girl, I've got devotion time, I've got to spend time with the Lord. I got to spend time with myself. I've got to really just be present and just sit and rest and actually process life in general. And, you can't do that with all things happening. So, I try to go to a quiet place, and I couldn't. This kid was next to me writing in her own notebook. And I said, girl, the whole point of this is like separating. Like, I need my space. I got my space for at least half an hour, so I'm grateful for that. But then, she started wriggling her way through. But in that case as well, I was like, well, at least I'm showing her the importance of having to go away and just have reflection time. That's something I want to build on her as well, because she definitely carries the traits that I taught her and showed her. So now it's the unlearning process, which is always so fun.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So fun.
But in your words, what advice would you give them in terms of like how to actively go into this new year and how to reflect? Like, what does that look like? Like, for me, obviously, was going away,
having the
quiet
time,
writing things down.
Yeah. For the year that was, I definitely take time, like whatever that looks like for you. It could be a pause. It could be just a quick reflection.
Could be a walk.
It could be a walk is amazing. But I think moving forward, what I found that is because as I have reflected back on years past, what I would do is I would try and write down what I'd accomplished in that year. And I could, and because the years are so big, I'd often forget some of the massive things that we'd actually done, from a work perspective, but from a personal perspective, right? So one of the things I adopted, and I want to say it's definitely this year that I've done it. I don't know. I think I did it in a bigger chunk last year, but my list, instead of writing a list at the end of the year, every month I would tackle this list. So, okay, what did we achieve for January? Cool, done this, this, and this, and this, and this. And whether you have to look at that weekly or however it works for you, you've got to figure out how it best works for you. But as you do something, write it down. This is what I've accomplished. So that when you come to this time of the year, you can really look at that list and go, holy Moses, like this is what we've accomplished this year. This is what I've done from a work perspective.
Yeah.
This is what I've done from a personal perspective.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. And gobsmacked. So probably one of the biggest things is to, so not only can we reflect every year at the end of every year, like New Year's, we and I attempt to do that every month, because if something needs to be changed,
tweaked,
that's where it is. Like if we didn't have that back in August, September, I think it was, this wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
We would never have tweaked it enough to go.
The consistency,
correct,
right? And the accountability,
correct,
to know that you're tracking,
you're staying on track
towards the goal.
Whereas
of saying it and then
actually
6 months comes and it's nothing.
Like, okay, cool, that month we made those millimeter increment changes, and being able to reflect monthly and then every 3 months. So like the quarter, these are my goals for the quarter, this is my goal for this month. Cool. When you break it all down and then you reflect on that, I know that's probably a lot, but writing it down, having it as you, because that becomes your success. This is the great thing about it is, this is what you lean on in those shit times. This is when you lean on when you're struggling to be like, the bad self-talk is kicking in and you're like, hang on a minute. See this list? I achieved this last year. I have a strength in me. I can do the hard thing. And that gets you up to do it. Whereas if you have to rely on your brain to tell you, it won't. Like it'll probably tell you everything else, but. So that's my encouragement. Write it down.
That's good too.
Every like weekly, monthly, and reflect on it then as well, so that when you come to the end of the year, you're like, you've already formed a habit. You've done it at least 12 times. Over the year, at least. So yeah, sorry, I get passionate.
Keep swimming.
And just stay in the game, man. Stay in your own lane. You were made specifically to be you, uniquely to be you. You have a gift,
So good.
and if you don't know what that is, just keep unpacking, keep exploring, get curious, find out what you love. It's usually connected to things like that, and just keep getting curious and trying new things because it will show.
Yeah.
Don't worry about being like everybody else. There's plenty of people like that. You don't need to be like that. Be you and all that you're called to be. And know that there's more.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is all from me.
Oof. I was like just taking that in for a minute.
Yeah.
I needed to hear that.
Oh.
Good. Yeah.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
Thank you for joining us. It's been wonderful to have you. We look forward to being with you in
2025. And in saying that, we've got a huge announcement to make. Ready, drum roll. We have an event coming up in 2025, guys. Yes, you heard that. Coming March.
Look at it.
We have an exciting event, and we
do.
are so like we want to tap dance right now.
We do.
We were before,
yeah,
and we probably will after this.
Yes.
Because we are stretching and we're willing to now step out.
Yeah.
And reach out to a few of you guys. So if you are local and you are in Mount Isa, ladies, this one is for you.
Yeah.
We will post more of the information on our socials. So if you're curious, if you want to get curious and sort of want to know what it's about, our heart is creating community.
Yeah.
Our heart is connecting. Our heart is really just helping others unpack their lives and what they're capable of, and knowing that they're definitely made for a purpose.
Yeah.
So,
and more.
and more and more. So we're excited.
So excited.
2025, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Love you guys and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Mwah. Yeah.
I love it. Oh God, I can't. Buttons.
Buttons. So many buttons.
Oh, the buttons.
Like gumdrops.
Not the gumdrop buttons.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.